Hello, welcome to English Wizard. In today's class, I'm going to talk about one of the topics that is Two Deer. Two Deer is a story by Leo Tolstoy. This video is exclusively for second PU students who are going to write their annual exams next month. Since we have read the story, we know very well what happens in the story. Here in this video, I am going to discuss possible 1 mark questions on the topic to dear. These are the important 1 mark questions that can be asked in your exams. I am going to read the questions now. Question number 1, as you can see here, question number 1, what is the name of the tiny kingdom? In the beginning of the story, we are introduced to a kingdom, a small kingdom, a tiny kingdom. Answer to this question is, most of you might know the answer, Monaco. Monaco is the tiny kingdom mentioned in the story, Two Deer. Question number 2, how many inhabitants were there in the kingdom of Monaco? How many inhabitants were there in the kingdom of Monaco? How many people were there in the kingdom of Monaco? Answer to this question is 7,000. 7,000 people were there in the kingdom of Monaco. Question number 3, the army of Monaco consisted of dash soldiers. The king of Monaco had a small army. It consisted of 60 soldiers. Remember this. The army of Monaco consisted of 60 soldiers. Here. Now let's go to question number 4. Mention any one of the items that was taxed in Monaco. Many items were taxed in Monaco. Items such as tobacco, wine and spirits, they were taxed. One of the items that was taxed in Monaco, you can write either tobacco or wine. Question number 5, what was the special source of revenue to the kingdom? What was the special source of revenue to the kingdom of Monaco? The special source of revenue to the kingdom of Monaco was income from gaming houses, or we can say gambling. Gambling, income, revenue from gaming houses was the main source or the special source of revenue to the kingdom of Monaco. Question number 6, what does dirty business refer to? The king says it's a dirty business. What does he refer to when the king says dirty business? Dirty business, this phrase refers to gambling. Dirty business refers to gambling. Now let's deal with this question. Question number 7. How much money did the French government demand? When a murder was committed, the criminal was sentenced to death. They needed a guillotine and an executioner. Since they didn't have it, they wrote a letter to the French government to supply a guillotine and an executioner, for which they demanded, how much money did the French government demand? 16,000 francs. 16,000 francs. 16,000 francs the French government demanded. Question number 8. How much money did the King of Italy demand? The King of Monaco wrote a letter to the King of Italy. A prompt reply was received. The King of Italy How much money did he demand for supplying a guillotine and an executioner? The answer to this question is 12,000. 12,000 francs. The king of Italy demanded 12,000 francs, whereas the French government wanted 16,000. 16,000 francs. Question number 9. Who does the phrase brother monarch refer to? The king says, he is like my brother. He is a brother monarch. To who did he refer when he used the phrase brother monarch? Brother monarch refers to the king of Italy. King of Italy. Question number 10. The king decided to punish the criminal with, when a murder was committed, the criminal was arrested, the king discussed the matter with his ministers and it was decided to execute the criminal. So the king decided to punish the criminal with death sentence. Death sentence. Question number 11. As you can see here, where did the criminal fetch his food from? The criminal used to fetch his food from palace kitchen. Palace kitchen. The criminal fetched his food from palace kitchen. Question number 12. How long will the criminal live according to the king and his ministers? How long will he live? He will live for 50 years. 50 years. Since the criminal is young, he may live for 50 years. Question number 13. How much did the king have to spend on the criminal a year? How much money did the king have to spend on the criminal annually? The answer is 600 francs. 600 francs the king had to spend on the criminal annually. Question number 14. On what condition did the criminal agree to leave? He was reluctant to leave, but in the end, he agreed to leave the kingdom of Monaco on one condition. On what condition? What was the condition? The criminal agreed to leave the kingdom of Monaco on the condition that he be paid 600 francs. 600 francs annually. The criminal agreed to leave the kingdom of Monaco on the condition that he be paid 600 francs per year. Question number 15. How much money did the king agree to pay the criminal as pension? Question number 15. How much money did the king agree to pay the criminal as pension? The amount that was agreed to pay the criminal annually as pension was 600 francs. 600 francs is the answer to question number 15. Now let's go to question number 16. How much money did the criminal receive in advance? How much money did the criminal receive in advance? How much was it? How much money did he receive? One third of his annuity. One third of his annuity. One third of his annuity he received in advance before leaving the kingdom of Monaco. Question number 17. Where did the criminal settle after leaving the king's domains? At the end of the story, the criminal agreed to leave the kingdom of Monaco. He left the king's domains and settled across the frontier. Across the frontier. Across the frontier is the answer to this question. Where did he settle? Across the frontier. The last question that we have for 1 mark on this topic is, what did the criminal do after leaving the kingdom of Monaco? He left the kingdom of Monaco, and what did he do after leaving the kingdom of Monaco? He started market gardening. Market gardening. These are the important questions you have to focus on while preparing for your annual exam. In this class, we have discussed 18 1 mark questions on the topic 2 dear. You have got to remember these words: Monaco, 7,000 people, 60 soldiers, tobacco and wine, gambling, 16,000 francs, 12,000 francs, King of Italy, 50 years, palace kitchen, 600 francs, across the frontier, market gardening, and 1/3 of the annuity. These are the points you got to bear in mind. With this, I'm going to wind up my discussion on 2 dear. If you find this video useful, please share it with your friends, and I'm going to upload more videos on topics related to grammar in the days to come. Thank you for watching. Follow for more.